Distinguished rabbis, esteemed dignitaries, members of the press, friends and fellow protesters. In just a few days, a foreign head of state is going to set foot in our country and claim, as he and his predecessors have before today, that he speaks in our name. He's going to claim that his country is our nation state, despite our being citizens of and loyal to the US of A. I stand before you today to make one truth clear. The state of Israel does not represent the Jewish people. Benjamin Netanyahu may speak in this city, but he does not speak for us. I say this not merely because we oppose a particular war or law or action that he and his country is performing. We do. But I say this not because we disagree with, condemn, and revile his idea of what being Jewish is. We do. I say this not because his actions are utterly non-Jewish, and they are. But I say this, that the state of Israel does not speak in the name of the Jews because, not that we don't like a particular thing that he's doing, but because the state of Israel is not our state. We are members only of our own countries of citizenship, and we have as much connection to the state of Israel as we do to China or Zimbabwe. Less even. China and Zimbabwe's reason for existence, at least, has nothing to do with erasing Judaism, erasing Jewish values, hijacking the Jewish faith, or stealing Jewish identity. Israel's does. Unlike political nations, the Jews were not created by a land, language, or culture. We became a people, as our religion tells us, in the desert at Mount Sinai when we accepted the Torah. We are a people. We are connected to each other only because of our religion that we accepted on Mount Sinai. That covenant with Hashem is our homeland, our constitution, and our only Jewishness. Zionism rejected this identity. Its founders looked at the Jew, the scholar, the pious, peaceful man, the Jewish man, and declared them weak and shameful. They envied the power of our own oppressors and sought to imitate them. There are various strains of Zionism, but all of them rejected the peaceful and serene nature of the Jews. Not only does Judaism abhor violence, but Jews are prohibited nowadays by religious law to wage war against any nation. But don't believe me about this. Let's let the Zionists speak for themselves. Vladimir Jabotinsky, the father of the dominant strain of Zionism today in Israel, and the man who Benjamin Netanyahu declared his mentor, openly said that the Zionist must be the opposite of the Jew. Take every character trait of a Jew, he said, and imagine its diametrical opposite. That, he said, is a Zionist. The Yid, he said, is ugly, sickly, frightened, likes to hide, and accepts submission. The Zionist is the opposite. The Zionists have always interpreted the Jewish rejection of the warrior ethos as cowardice, the desire to live peacefully among people of the nations of the world as a sickness born out of the exile. I know I'm a Zionist, this Jabotinsky said, because the Jewish people are a nasty people. Their neighbors hate it, and they are right. Nasty, weak, ugly, and scared. That's how the Zionists looked at normal people who just want to live in peace wherever they choose, study God's law, and practice their religion. Exile Jews, they call us, with an exile mentality. So they hatched a scheme to change the Jews from scholars to warriors, from the faithful to the fearsome, from striving for piety to striving for power. That scheme was Zionism. Its goal, to replace religion with nationalism, to replace the Talmud with tanks, and to change the people of the book to the people of the bomb. So they acquired a state and declared it to be the state of the Jews. They created a language and decided it's the national language of the Jews, and they made an army and said that's what defends the Jewish people. But we Jewish people have no state. We have no national language, and there is no army of the Jews. There is no Jewish nationality and no Jewish state, only a Jewish religion, and the state of Israel claiming that there is a comical delusion. The truth is that the state of Israel has as much to do with Judaism and Jewish identity as China or Korea does. The state of Israel is therefore not a normal country. It claims to be the country of a nation that does not exist. It's a pathetic falsehood, an identity theft against the Jewish people. But how did the Zionists plan to get the Jews to believe they are who the Zionists say they are? Their first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, asked this question in 1951. We have a country, he said, but no nation. He knew there was no such thing as a Jewish nation. To create one, he said that the Israeli army will serve not only as a military organization, but an institution designed to reshape the Jews into a Zionists. He called it a melting pot, designed to cleanse, that was his word, the Jewish people of their, quote, foreign garbage, and reshape their personalities into, well, what we see in Israel today. So not only is Israel not a normal country, but the army is not a normal army. To the Zionists, a military is not merely necessary for self-defense. It's a way to shape a personality. Again, let's let the Zionists speak for themselves. Quote, Jabotinsky viewed military service as not only a duty performed for the sake of honor, but even a sublime value that the state is based upon. End quote. A sublime value. We need to digest that. That's Zionism. The author of that statement was another Zionist. His name was Ben-Zion Netanyahu, father of today's Israeli Prime Minister. But it doesn't end there. The Zionist mentor of Netanyahu family also said that his militant brand of Zionism will, quote, develop and grow. It will become a majority within Zionism, and then it will become Zionism itself. His militant youth group, he said, quote, will be the moral and spiritual lawgiver for all Jewish youth. You want to know the difference between Judaism and Zionism? In Judaism, God is the moral and spiritual lawgiver to the Jewish people. In Zionism, Jabotinsky's militant youth group is the moral and spiritual lawgiver. From Torah to tanks. Netanyahu, Israel has no right to draft anyone into its army. No country has a right to subject their citizens to the forced religious indoctrination that your army was designed to be. An indoctrination camp to redefine Jewish identity, to make militarism into a sublime value. Your officials said it openly. If they don't draft Haredim into the army, they will never become Zionists. Our military experts in West Point Academy decades ago say that critics argue that Israel relies too heavily on military force, that the relationship between military force and political ends has, quote, somehow eluded Israel's leaders. Our military experts in this country can't explain why you make wars even when you gain nothing by winning them. Perhaps the answer lies in your obsession with not being exiled Jews. In the book of Genesis, chapter 27, Esau, the evil brother and diametrical opposite of our righteous father Jacob, is said to be destined to, quote, live by the sword. On Monday, October 26, 2015, during a Foreign Affairs Defense Committee meeting, Benjamin Netanyahu was asked whether Israel plans to, quote, live by the sword forever, and his answer was simply yes. Even if we were allowed to fight wars against nations, your attitude towards war, you say it yourselves, is the opposite of ours. We will not fight in your army. Your PR people say you need more soldiers. More soldiers? No. You need less wars. I am not ashamed of it as a Jew of Netanyahu, because Netanyahu and I do not share a religion. Oh, he calls himself a Jew like I do, but those are homonyms. The Jewish nationality he identifies with does not exist, and the Jewish people I am a part of that was born at Mount Sinai, he doesn't believe in. Judaism and Zionism are two separate religions. Zionism, as practiced by the Orthodox Jews, such as me, is not the same religion as Zionism is. Zionism is simple idol worship, and all Zionists, Orthodox or not, are idol worshippers. Nothing Netanyahu does is because of Judaism. Don't be fooled when he speaks of religion or quotes the Bible. Netanyahu's understanding of the Bible is not Jewish. When he spoke at the site of the Auschwitz death camp, he quoted a prophecy in Yechezkel, chapter 37, where dry bones arise from the ground, grow flesh, and come to life. Netanyahu said that prophecy foretells the Jews establishing the state of Israel. Now first, Netanyahu, I don't tell you how to run your economy. Please don't tell the rabbis how to interpret their Bible. But this interpretation Netanyahu plagiarized not from any Jewish source. It is not found in any rabbinic writing. Netanyahu learned this from the evangelicals. It's well known amongst them, originally given in a sermon in 1864 by the Reverend Charles Haddon Spurgeon, decades before Theodor Herzl published his book Der Judenstaat, and repeated constantly to this day by clergymen like John Hagee. Another example, Netanyahu's interpretation, which is famous already, of the concept of Amalek is nowhere to be found in Judaism, but was interpreted the same way as Netanyahu by Puritan settlers in colonial America and Ireland. So let me be clear. I am not here to separate Judaism from Zionism. They were never the same. I am not here to distance Judaism from Zionism. They were never close. I am not here to wash our hands of Netanyahu. We never would touch him with a 10-foot pole. But Israel does claim unilaterally, falsely, and brazenly to act in our name. Netanyahu claims to speak in the name of the Jews. Israel does call itself the Jewish state and uses words and symbols that their ideology of Zionism stole from Judaism. And because of that, I am here today to say, they lie. Not because of a particular thing they do, but because the state of Israel is not the state of the Jews. It is the state of the Israelis. They have no standing to call themselves a Jewish state. Netanyahu is not even a practicing Jew. I'm here to tell you that Zionists and I, Netanyahu and I, are not the same people. There is no us. There is no we. Netanyahu is outside the tent of Klal Yisrael. You, Netanyahu, are an enemy of the Jewish religion, a traitor to the Jewish people into which you were born, and your attempts to draft Jewish boys and girls into your immoral army, into your indoctrination camp of Zionism to make them Zionists will not succeed. To Prime Minister Netanyahu and those who share his militant vision, I say, you may try to draft our sons and daughters into your institutions. You may build an apparatus to break our will. You may pursue conquest and control. But we will not trade the Torah for tanks. We will not trade the book for the bomb. We will not surrender our souls to an anti-Jewish machinery of permanent domination. We, the Jews, have endured empires and persecutions because we preserve the Torah as our homeland. That is our strength. Against tanks and empires alike, Judaism will always endure.
Weet sehr stark de